Today we are going to be going over the best weapons in Modern Warfare 2. I will be going over some of the more unique meta weapons just because basically in this game every weapon kind of competes. I think they've done the overall balancing pretty well. For example, the MP7 isn't the best SMG. The Vaznev is the best SMG, but you can still very much pop off with the MP7. We are also going to be going over the best AR, which is the M4. We got the MP5, which is very good. ISO is very good, even though it just got a nerf. The Bass P just got a buff, and so you guys got to try out this new setup. Same with the P90. I love that gun. And then lastly, we are going to be going over the Vaznev. If you do want to see another video of like more meta weapons, check out the video above me. There is some very good class setups in that video. But to start things off, we are going to be going over the Val 46, which is the MP7. By the way, do you want that Orion camo, but you're just a little bit too busy to grind through all 2,000 camos? If so, you should definitely check out Guapci. Guapci provides weapon leveling services, camo unlock services, challenge unlock services such as the Warzone Nuke, and many more for all the platforms. This weapon has so much mobility, allowing you to easily fly around the map, and since I'm such an aggressive player, this is honestly like one of my favorite weapons to use. This first setup isn't my favorite setup, but this is a setup that I feel like more of you guys will like because it's overall a little bit easier to use. That being said, we got the Tango barrel to increase the overall damage output, and for the tuning, just increase that damage range and walking speed. For the underbarrel, we are running the Bruin Sync Shot grip. This is gonna remove all the idle sway on the weapon, giving you more predictable recoil, basically making the weapon easier to use. And then we are gonna be running the 30 round mag, although sometimes, like especially if I'm playing on shipment, oh my god, the hair split, no way. Usually I will run the 50 round mag on shipment just because I believe this actually doesn't hurt the mobility at all. You're not gonna notice that, and so it's gonna feel the same if you don't have a magazine or if you throw on the 50 round mag, making the 50 round mag a great option. I'm gonna lose it with this hair. I hate when it splits, but the 30 round mag adds so much mobility, allowing you to really run around the map, and so that's why I usually will run the 30 round mag. For the rear grip, we got the Skalager Soldier grip for more mobility, again tune it for more mobility. And then lastly, for the stock, we are running the Assault 60 stock because there is a decent amount of recoil on the weapon, and so now it's going to be a lot easier to control. So again, this is the setup that more people probably like for me and other very good players. Oh shoot, did I lose the class? No way. Okay, so Shotzi's class is basically the same thing, but you take off the barrel, you want to add the demo stock, tune this for more mobility, and then keep the 30 round mag, keep the Skalager Soldier grip. For the underbarrel, because there's going to be absolutely zero recoil control on the weapon, just run the Edge 47, which the Edge 47 recently got a buff, and so now it's not going to hurt your mobility as much. And then tune it for the horizontal recoil control, which is the recoil stabilization, and then the aiming idle stability. And so again, this is my, oh, and then since there's only 4 attachments, this is actually what I run in ranked play if I don't want to run the Vaznev. But if I'm using this in the public matches, I'll use the same thing, but I'll go over to the ammo, and then I'll throw on the overpressured, which gives the enemy so much flinch, and then you can tune it for more range. And so now you have about 4% more damage range, and then you can tune it for more recoil control because you're not going to notice this loss to your bullet velocity whatsoever. And so now the weapon's going to be even easier to use. With all that said though, that is going to wrap it up for the MP7. The next weapon I want to go over, this is going to be the M4, which I believe is the best gun in the game right now. The ISO was the best, but then it just got a nerf, and I find myself doing way better always with the M4. This thing is such a phenomenal weapon. I absolutely love it. I will be giving you guys 2 or 3 different subs for the weapon. This first one is going to have a lot of range and a lot of recoil control, which is why we are running the high tower barrel. I don't know why it said that. Okay, so you do not want to tune the barrel. For the underbarrel, we are running the shark fin just to make the weapon have a little bit less sway, and we can tune it for more recoil control. For the ammo, this one you can swap it out for a muzzle if you want, a magazine, an optic, a laser. For me, usually I'm going to be running the overpressured rounds, and again we will tune it for more damage range. And for the rear grip, to increase the mobility, because a lot of the attachments that we are running is bringing down the mobility, so run the X10 grip and tune that for more mobility. And then lastly, for the stock, this stock is gonna like put your guy on ice skates. It's good, adds so much strafe speed and fluidity. Is that even a word? It makes the weapon feel a lot better, and then you just want to tune it for the ADS speed and the aiming idle stability. And so that is going to wrap it up for like the ranged no recoil M4 setup. The other one I want to go over, this is actually going to be my favorite setup for the weapon right now, Although I use this weapon so much, and so I do change the class a lot, but right now I'm really liking this build. This thing is going to act like an SMG, but you're still going to have so much recoil control, and so it's super fun to use. As you guys can see, really not that much recoil on the weapon. The back sight is what makes the weapon look like it has a lot of recoil. That front sight, if you guys look, it doesn't really move that much, and so just try to get used to that, and then you don't really need an optic, and without the optic you'll have more ADS, which is super nice. And then for the tuning on these guys, you just want to tune it for more mobility. That demo stock, again, X10 is going to have the same tuning, overpressured, same tuning, commando underbarrel. If you want more mobility, feel free to run the shark fin, but I feel the commando just adds a lot of recoil control without really hurting the mobility at all. And the muzzle I went with for this one is going to be the Sock and Tread 40, because it does specialize in the vertical recoil, and this weapon does have a lot of vertical recoil. And then there is one more setup I want to show you guys. This is going to be the SMG version. Sometimes I will take off the laser to add a magazine. It's pretty fun to use on shipment just because you can run around so quick. For the muzzle, I just found the FJX was the best overall. It really doesn't matter. They're all basically the same thing. And then for the rear grip, we are running the socket because there is a little bit of recoil on this build, because we are running the buffer tube, that no stock, and then just tune it for recoil control and sprint to fire speed. And I think that's going to wrap it up for the M4. So now let's get into the MP. Actually, before the MP5, let's do the Bass P. This Bass P just got a buff, and so now I believe it has more damage range, and this thing is super good. I really like this weapon. The Vaznev is still, I think, a lot better, but this thing does compete with the meta, and you can really pop off with this build. This thing is so freaking fun to use. Although I do think they should buff it one more time so then it has 40 rounds without hurting mobility at all, then gives the option to run a 30 round magazine with the pros that the 20 round has. Then I actually could see it being a meta weapon in ranked play. In the public matches, it is a meta weapon, one of the better ones that you can use. Running the flash hider eliminates all that horizontal recoil on the weapon without really hurting the mobility at all. For the underbarrel, if you do want more recoil control, throw on the commando underbarrel. For me, since I can control the recoil pretty well, I am going to be running the shark fin, overpressured again. I kind of run that on every build. And like I said before, oh, I didn't tune this. So just tune this for more mobility. And like I was saying with the overpressure, this is the attachment that you would swap out for like an optic, magazine, laser. On the Bass P, I would stay away from the barrels. You don't really need those. And then we are just running the flash stock for more mobility. And again, tune that for more mobility. And that's going to wrap it up for the Bass P. And so now let's get into the ISO, which is probably the best or the second best weapon in the game. This is also a very good weapon in Warzone, although I would not use this exact build in Warzone. This is more of a multiplayer build. So I do have a few builds for this weapon, but I don't think I saved any of them. I kind of just make on however I'm feeling. The iron sights on this weapon are very wonky, so we are going to be running the Cronin Mini Pro. Another very good optic is going to be the Slimline Pro, and for the stock, we're running the Raid 90 just for a little bit more mobility. And why do I keep forgetting to tune these? Bring up the mobility on that stock. Again, we are running the X10 grip to increase the overall mobility of the weapon. Again, as you guys can see, there is a trend with all the classes. There's like a few meta attachments, and then you just want to throw those on every gun, because a lot of the weapons in this game are, why are these not saving? So many of the weapons in this game are very good without attachments, and a lot of the time when you do throw on attachments, it does hurt the weapon more. And so that's why a lot of these attachments don't really hurt the weapon that much. They slightly make the weapon a little bit better. And then for the tuning on the Edge 47, so annoying that this isn't saving. Just tune it from a little bit more mobility right in there is perfect. So with all that said, that's gonna wrap it up for the ISO. I think I might have one. Oh, this is a brand new setup I just made for the weapon. So much mobility, but you still have a lot of recoil control. Pretty much the same thing, but we are running the Sock and Tread 40 muzzle. This is my favorite build if I am running this on shipment. I will, if I'm on shipment, I'll take off the muzzle and then I'll throw on like the 45 round mags just so I don't have to reload as often. And since your engagements are so close range, you don't really need a muzzle. Dude, my game crashed. Oh my god. Like I was saying, on shipment, you don't really need that muzzle or the underbarrel, so you can swap one of those out for the magazine. And that's going to wrap it up for the ISO. So now let's go over another very good weapon. I'll try to be a little bit quicker since I think this video is getting a little bit long. So this one is going to be the P90, which in this game is the PDSW. I don't know if that's like the technical name. No, I don't think they have a single technical name in the game. Let me know in the comments. So I'm pretty sure it's called like a P90 though. And so this thing recently got a buff. It's actually pretty good. Wouldn't say it's like a super good weapon. Like the Vaznev is still way better, but this is a very fun weapon to use that I do recommend you guys to try out. And dude, this doesn't save. Bring up the ADS because recoil smoothness does not do anything at all. Then increase the gun kick control, reducing the vertical recoil on the weapon. Again, we are running the overpressure. You can swap that out for something else if you want. And then for the rest of the attachments, because this weapon doesn't have that good of a mobility, we are just going to furthermore max out that mobility. And I think that is going to wrap it up for the P90. And if you are watching to this point of the video, leave a comment saying pickle. I'm curious how many pickles we can get in the comments, which that sounds actually horrible. So this next weapon I want to go over, this is going to be the Lachmann Sub, and you know, the MP5. We all call it the MP5. This is one of the best weapons in the game. Really doesn't have that much damage range, but I believe it actually is the fastest killing SMG at close range. And I got two different very good class setups. This first one is the one that I would be using in ranked play if I were to use this weapon. Got the Falcon barrel on there to increase the mobility, and then you just want to tune in for more damage range, which is honestly very helpful. On the underbarrel, the phase 3 grip is a very underrated underbarrel, and yeah, something's bugged out with this game. I swear I had all these tuned, but this phase 3, I don't know why more people don't use it. It is such a good underbarrel. Please give it a go. And yeah, this game is completely broken. Okay, for the muzzle tuning, bring up the gun kick control and the recoil stabilization. For the stock, we are running the mobile stock. Again, increase the mobility. And lastly, we are running the Cronus grip, which this is going to make it a little bit easier to stay on targets. We are losing aim walking speed, but we are just going to tune it for more mobility. That is one of the biggest reasons I do run the Cronus, is so we can tune it for the sprint to fire, since that is a very crucial stat. Although if you want to run a laser optic ammunition magazine, then I would take off that Cronus grip or the muzzle, but the weapon might be a little bit hard to use. This next one I want to go over, this is going to be like a slow but high mobility setup. Don't really use this one in rank too often, but this one's pretty fun to use. We actually have a quicker movement speed, but the ADS speed is a little bit slow. If we do take off the barrel, you're going to have absolutely zero damage range, but you're going to have so much mobility, and so it really depends on the map that I'm playing if I take off the barrel or if I leave the barrel on. For that tuning though, just increase the ADS speed and the recoil steadiness. I will show you guys how it feels without a barrel once I go over these tunings. Again, increase recoil control. We are running the operator foregrip, which is a very underrated underbarrel. This is just going to make the MP5 feel very good. And then for the rear grip, we are just adding this for more recoil control, since this no stock really does kill the weapon. And just to show you guys, now this weapon is going to have so much mobility, very snappy ADS. It's just there's kind of a lot of recoil, so you only can use it at close range. But that is a very underrated one that I recommend you guys to try out. And I just realized, if you want, I would run a 40 round magazine and the ammo, a laser, or an optic. Probably the 40 round mag, because with this setup you can play so aggressive. This thing is probably so fun to use on ship, and honestly, I think I'm going to make a dedicated video on this setup because that thing is just so fun to use. And for the last weapon I want to go over, this is going to be the Vaznev, which I will be giving you guys the rank play setup, but this is going to be a very good, just regular pub stomping shipment class setup, because we are running the 45 round magazine, so we don't need to reload as often. If you want, you can take this off and then you can go over to the barrel, throw on the cost barrel, which the Vaznev, some people say it sucks, but it's just because you suck at aiming. Okay, really, you just got to hit your shots in the center chest on the enemy, or headshots. If you start to hit limb shots, then the weapon isn't going to be that good. Plus, if you're using this thing at range, it's really going to feel like there is no damage range on the weapon. And so that's why I feel like a lot of you guys will like to run this cost barrel instead of that magazine. But you know, like on shipment, you don't really need to run the barrel because you're not going to be in range gunfights. But this is going to make the weapon feel a lot better besides the mobility, and that's the reason I don't run it, is because it hurts the mobility so much. Used to run it, but now I feel like I'm a little bit of a better player where I can position myself to be very close to the enemies. I don't really take gunfights at range, and so this is a very good, just regular pub stomping setup. Remember, you can take off that barrel for a magazine, optic, laser, ammunition. description. And then the rank play setup real quickly. This one is going to be basically the same thing. If you want to run a barrel, you can run a barrel. For me, I don't run a barrel, but we are running the ultras at stock just so we can be a little bit more accurate. In the public matches, you don't need to hit every shot because typically the players aren't that good. In rank play, when you're playing against like iridescents and stuff, you got to hit every shot, and the broadside will sometimes make you miss your shots. And then I'm not tuning this at all, and so this is my favorite rank play setup. And you know, I think that is gonna wrap it up. If you guys want a very good secondary, I really like the X13. I just run these attachments with this tuning real quick, and then I do like to run the P890. That is also a very good broken secondary. Basically, for all my secondaries, I always run a knife so I can run around the map a little bit quicker than if I do run a pistol. It's always going to be the Kimbo. I don't really have any single class setups, like single pistol class setups. Maybe in the future I will do those. It's just I never use them, so I gotta like force myself to make a class for those. And I think that is going to wrap it up. You know, I might have a single oh, I actually, I don't know if this one is good. Let me know in the comments if you like this setup, but this one is probably a pretty good one. Let's check out the tuning. Yeah, I don't think I'm tuning any of these things, but this is a pretty good setup. And that is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys did find it helpful. If you wanted to get better at the game, see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. But I appreciate all you guys watching. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video, and deuces.